What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're all doing well. You're gonna have to excuse me. I'm a bit of a hot mess today. I have had a crazy day. It is 150,000 degrees outside, and so what you see is what you get. So I hope that you can overlook all of this that I got going on. All right? In my last video, I talked about how a downwards acceleration has never been physically measured. And I also talked about how those who are claiming a downwards acceleration have never made the determination or proven in any way that it is actually the object moving down and it's not the ground, the container, the medium, and all of that moving up to meet the object. And so it is pointless to go on to calculate speed rates and make claims of cause for matter moving down if you haven't proven that matter is moving down, right? So in this video, what I want to discuss is how an object appearing to move to the ground, and not only that, but appearing to get faster and faster and faster to the ground, is just an optical illusion. A lot of people ask the question, well, if the ground is moving up at a constant rate, then why is it that an object looks like it's moving downwards, but it looks like it's getting faster and faster and faster, accelerating? So I've made a short visual aid to hopefully help those who need it to understand what is actually happening and why we see it the way we see it. Okay, so we're going to take a look at that first, and then I'm going to come back because I've got a couple other clips that I want to share with you as well. So let's take a look at the visual aid first. I hope that you enjoy it. This is a visual aid to explain why it is, when an object is released in midair, it appears to accelerate to the ground. The object is not actually accelerating downwards, it is only an optical illusion. This is the Earth. It's moving upwards at 100 miles per hour. Now, I don't know the actual speed. I'm just using this number for simplicity because anyone can envision that number. Now, this is a building. I am standing on the building holding an object. You are standing here on the ground watching me hold that object. Now, at this point, you, me, the ground, the building, and the object are all moving upwards at the same constant speed of 100 miles per hour. When I release the object, it doesn't instantly freeze or hover in midair, regardless of what others on this platform might try to convince you that I claim. I've never said this, nor has anyone else I know. The object continues to move in its upward trajectory, but it begins to lose its momentum or speed. At this point, you, the ground, and everything else are still moving upwards at 100 miles an hour while the object is slowing down. That means that every second that goes by that the object is getting slower, you and the ground are moving that much faster than the object. I'm not saying you and the ground are increasing your speed. I'm saying you're moving faster than the object every second because the object is losing its speed while you remain constant. This gives you the illusion that the object is moving faster and faster to the ground. Because it appears that way to you, you will interpret it optically as a downwards acceleration. Now I'm going to do my best to try to draw this for you, and hopefully you'll get what I'm trying to say here. So if when I release the object, right, the object is going to continue moving up this way, right? The ground is also moving up in the same direction. The object is slowing down while the ground remains at its constant speed. So if the ground comes up and meets the object, my pen keeps shutting off, meets the object at this point, here's the building, did it again, here's the building, here's you standing here, or me standing there, right? The ground has come up to meet the object. If the ground meets the object at that point, right, let's say the object has slowed down to 10 miles an hour at this point. that the ground impacts it. That means that the ground is going to impact it at a 90-mile-per-hour impact rate. If the object were only, let's say you didn't drop it from very high up, or you didn't release it from very high up, and let's say at this point that the ground meets the object, let's say the object was only able to slow down to, say, 50 miles an hour. The ground is going to hit it at an impact rate of 50 miles an hour. A lot of it depends on the distance, right? The time that the object has to decelerate. So the point is that as that object is slowing down, to you it appears as if the object's getting faster and faster and faster because you are moving that much faster than the object as it slows down. It's only an optical illusion. The object isn't moving down at all, and it's not accelerating to the ground. An optical illusion.
All right. Now that you've seen the visual aid that I put together, I hope that that clarifies for anybody who might have been confused about, me saying things like apparent downwards acceleration, or that a downwards acceleration is only an optical, thing. It's an optical interpretation, that it's not physical. It's just an illusion. That's all it is. Okay. Things are not always as they appear. All right. Which brings me to my next point. When it comes to standing on the moving reference frame of the earth, right? If I have an object and I release that object, if all you have is your vision, that's it. You got nothing else to go off of, nothing else, right? It is going to be impossible to tell whether it's the object moving down or the ground coming up to meet it, or both moving together at the same time. It's going to be impossible to tell. However, if we dig a little bit deeper and we understand inanimate matter, we understand force and how force affects matter, gases, liquids, solids. If we understand these effects, right, then we can go on from there to perform a series of tests and demonstrations to help us figure out what is actually happening, whether it's the object moving down or the ground, or both. That's what we can do. Now, what I want to do is I want to share with you a clip that when I saw it, it blew me away. I mean, it's very simple. It highlights, in my opinion, beautifully how if all you have is your vision and nothing else, you absolutely cannot tell what is in motion, when it's in motion, none of that. So I'm going to let you take a look and see what you think. Let's take a look. So, were you able to tell what was in motion in that clip? I have a feeling that anybody who says they were able to tell is probably lying. Based solely on your vision, I don't know how it's possible for you to tell. I really don't. We're going to watch another clip, and this one is just like the one you just saw, except the system has changed. Water has been added to the container, and a small weight is now hanging from the striped wall in the background. When you understand how a force affects matter, then it becomes easy to tell not only what's in motion, when it's in motion, but what direction it's moving in. So let's take a look at the final clip and you can see for yourself. So there you have it. I hope that this makes it clear that when we look to these effects, the effects of a force on matter, we're able to tell what is going on, what is in motion, what isn't in motion, what direction is it moving in. All these things can be answered. It's not that difficult. We just have to understand how these other things work. So, one thing that I want to add is something that I really didn't point out in my last video. Hopefully you watched it. If you didn't, you're probably not really going to know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you noticed that in the last two clips you watched, there is a ruler in each of those clips. Now, the ruler has lines on it, okay? Equally spaced, and we would call those lines reference points. Now, the test that I shared with you from my last video, the tube that the little ball appears to be moving down in also has little lines on it, reference points. Now, in that test, in that video, the only determination that you can make is that a change is occurring, okay? The change is a change in the relationship between the object and the reference points. So the ball's here at this point, the ball's here at this point, the ball's here after this much time's elapsed, the ball's here after this much time's elapsed. That's the only determination that you can make, but you cannot determine whether it's the ball moving down or everything else moving up. Now, in these clips I just shared with you, however, this most recent clip I shared with you, the reference points take on a whole new meaning, because now we have the effects of a force. We have other matter that we can look to, and we can use those reference points in relationship to the objects that are in motion to give us more information. We can't do that in the test I showed you in the other video. There's no information that you can gather from that, other than just, as I said, the ball's here at this point it's here at this. That's it. That's the only thing you can really determine from that test. But in this one, you can glean much more information. What's moving, when it's moving, what direction's it moving in. All these different things can be determined. So I just wanted to add that in before I go, because I didn't get to mention it before. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it this time. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that maybe you were able to, gain some new knowledge from it, or a better understanding, a deeper comprehension. These videos, I do these videos mainly for the people that are open to this information. I know there are at least several of you who have expressed that you're trying to understand, you're trying to comprehend, and that's why I'm putting these videos together. This isn't for those of you who disagree or vehemently are against what I think or my position or whatever. You have your own beliefs, you want nothing to do with it. That's fine. You don't have to be here. Nobody's twisting your arm. For those of you who already understand all this stuff and you're on board, you get it, thank you for being here. I really appreciate your support. I appreciate the kind comments that you leave, because this can be incredibly difficult when you have, trolls out there calling you names and leaving hateful, rude comments and stuff like that. It can be really, really difficult to keep going. And sometimes you wonder, is it worth it? But for me, it is, because I care about the truth. So thank you so much for all your support. I really, really appreciate it. Y'all take care, and I'll catch you next time.